Hello and welcome to Vidwan Sarvatra Pujate. I am Sat Parashar. In Panchtantra, which is a Indian classic, it is a treasure trove of the life lessons full of wit and wisdom. The author Vishnu Sharma, he raises a question while discussing with his students that are the kingship and scholarship the same, comparable, equal? And he answers that no, never. A king is respected in his own country, whereas a scholar is respected all over. The fundamental lesson for the young people is that be learned, be scholar, be at its best whatever you do. Whatever could be your field of activity, you should try to do the best, and you will be respected wherever you go. We decided to talk to some scholars who moved out of India and distinguished themselves wherever they went. The objective was that the young people can listen their life story, can listen their life journey, and it may help them to be inspired. Our today's guest is Professor Dr. Yash Gupta. Yash Gupta is a very famous, very well known plastic surgeon in London. He is a fellow of the Royal Colleges of Surgeons of England. Welcome, Dr. Gupta. Thank you for joining us on the Vidwan Sarvatra Pujte, and you are definitely one of the Vidwan. And I'd like to begin asking you, will you please briefly tell us about your parents, about your family and schooling in India before you moved out of India?
Oh, thank you very much, Sat Parashar for inviting me on this very nice forum. And this is a very interesting topic that you have raised. I I grew up in Delhi. I have very modest background. My dad was an engineer par excellence. In fact, he built the Bhakra Dam. He was instrumental in designing and structure of the Bhakra Dam. But the pays were not that good in those days. But we lived fairly well. My mom was a housewife and she managed everything. And at the age of 10, I came across a book about human body, and I was fascinated by it. And I read it whole, and then I drew some diagrams of brain and skeleton and so on and so forth. And I took it back to the school, and my science teacher loved it. It's a wonderful work, Mr. Yash. Yash at that time, I was Yash. And so he said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to become a doctor." So then I decided at the age of 10 that I'm going to become a doctor. So what happened, this was important because then I took the science subjects and I was good at science, physics, chemistry, maths. And then in 8th standard, we had to take biology. So I took biology, physics, chemistry, maths, and English. And I went to a school which is called Anglo-Sanskrit School in Dayaganj. And it's like a nearest to Gurukul of the modern times. And they had a very old tradition and very fine tradition of discipline. And anybody who broke discipline had the But it gave me a good platform to jump and excel. And from the beginning, our dad was expecting us to come top of the class. And so we came top, and, I topped in higher secondary, and then I wanted to do pre-medical. So for pre-medical, my dad got transferred to Chandigarh. So I went to Chandigarh. So I went to DAV College, Chandigarh, and I topped there. So my name is in roll of honors there. And in fact, I got a scholarship for the next few years. And this helped me a lot because I got admission into AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences. And at that time, there were only 35 seats in the open. So it was a massive competition, and it wasn't easy to get into AIMS. But then the hostel was compulsory. So I came to hostel, and there was a fee for the hostel, and of course that wasn't that well off. So my scholarship helped, came in handy. So obviously, under these circumstances, I thought I have to study really hard and work really hard and work smart as well. So I think I did both, not just studying, but trying to understand the concepts. And, studied lots and lots of books, of course, in medicine. And I became the first doctor in the family. And there were only engineers before. My dad, both my elder brothers were engineers. So then, when at AIMS, it was very interesting because I got interested in surgery. The first day I went to AIMS, they took us to an operating theater gallery. So it was right at the top. The theaters were right at the top, and a very eminent professor, Dr. Dhawan, was operating. He was doing a kidney operation, and I was first year medical student. When I saw that, I said, "This is what I want to do." So then I pursued surgery after MBBS, and I did pediatric surgery. I did orthopedic trauma surgery in AIMS. But then my main aim was to become fellow of Royal College of Surgeons. So for that, I had to come to UK, but obviously didn't have enough money. In fact, there was no money for even an air ticket. So then, luckily, I got an offer from Lusaka, Zambia, which was a university teaching hospital, and very, very big, 1,400 bed hospital with medical school. And there I became surgical registrar, and I operated day in and day out, and in fact did major surgery there. And then I collected some money, not enough to pay for my fees for the FRCS. It was in two parts: FRCS Part One and FRCS Part Two. And I came to UK with a few pounds in my pocket. And in fact, I did not have. In fact, that was my journey, like in India, and then in UK, I'll tell you a little bit about my UK journey. So when
Yeah,
I came,
that'll be interesting. I heard that you are a top student, you are a hardworking, you are a disciplined student while in India. And when you moved to UK, you have distinguished yourself. Would you please tell us that how did you distinguish yourself in UK after moving here?
so when I came to UK, it was very difficult for Indians to excel. Although I had done so much operating and I had so much knowledge, still people had this perception that, oh, you will not get through FRCS. Nobody gets through FRCS. They don't give it to Indians. So I said, okay, let me give it a try. So the part one I did within 6 weeks of coming to Britain. In fact, I did not have money to buy books, the big books for surgery. So I used to go to a library in Tottenham Court Road. There's a place called Foyles. It's a very big. It's not a library. In fact, it's a medical bookstore, and it had a bottom in the basement. There was a section for surgical and medical books. So after work, I used to go there, stand for 2-3 hours, and go through all the books. And this is how I did my study for the surgery. People talk about hardship. But then I persisted, and with the God's help, I cleared part two in the first attempt, and I became one of the youngest fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons at the age of 27. And then I did surgical training here, and did general surgery, trauma surgery, and I did started doing big operations here. But then I got interested in plastic surgery. So because I was fascinated by this reconstructive surgery, more reconstructive rather than cosmetic surgery. These days, people think plastic surgery is all cosmetic surgery. Cosmetic surgery is a very small part of plastic surgery. Actually, it's like less than 10%. So major is the reconstruction after removal of cancer like head and neck cancer, and then how to reconstruct it. And then we use various type of flaps. In fact, I developed microsurgery. I developed tissue expansion techniques, and a lot of I published papers. And in fact, I was my name was put in the Wall of Honor on the Royal Society of Medicine, and I was invited by the Royal College of Surgeons to do a presentation. And I did a presentation and got a standing ovation. And also, I was invited to India by and met President Zail Singh. I was invited for dinner at Rashtrapati Bhavan, and they wanted me to bring some techniques over there. So I did some work in Delhi as well to and brought a lot of I used to replant cut hands, somebody hand and do major reconstructive surgery lasting like 7 8 hours through the night. A lot of hard work, but very satisfying work. Because I always felt very satisfied that I'm able to use my knowledge and skills to help people save lives, save limbs, save faces, like that. So did lots and lots of surgery, and then I also was world leader of plastic surgery. I was awarded world leader of plastic surgery, and then I was invited to Harvard for a medical leadership program, which was very rare. I was the only one from UK. There were only 15 people from all over the world. So it was, it's a very productive journey. A lot of hard work went into it, but I'm glad that I was able to help people with, various major problems.
Very impressive. Now, if you take a pause at this time and look back, would you like to thank somebody, acknowledge somebody, who has helped you to achieve all that?
Yes, I would obviously thank the Lord. I must thank the Lord because it's all by His will that we get this thing, and He sends us to help people, and I was able to help people. And I like to thank my mom and dad, and I think this is very important because they inculcate good sanskaras in us, and of hard work, discipline, proper thinking, not spending and wasting time on silly things, and be focused, like that. And even though they were very modest means, but yet we learned the value of how to little money can go far type, that type of concept. So very thankful to them that they actually gave me a very good education. I could not go to private schools. I went to a school, Tat school. We used to sit and write on the takti. Versus a school opposite us was Sardar Patel School, which was like the top private school. And I used to look at the participation of sports day and things. But anyway, that didn't bother me. It only inspired me to achieve more and more. Finally, I like to thank my wife. And I met her early, during my final year of MBBS, and she was a lawyer, and we got married, and then we, came to England, and she was a top lawyer here in London. And in fact, she was the one who always inspired me. And we had two kids, and she looked after them and everybody, and always smiling. And also a special thanks to her because when I was at Harvard, she took me to a temple in Boston. And she said, I want to go to a temple. I said, well, Boston, you can't find any. She said, no, I've looked at one. And so we walked there. And there, there was a Havan going on. And I said, what is the Havan? So said, it's a Brahm Samhita Havan going on. So you please have a seat. So I had a seat, and there was a translation of Brahm Samhita. So I started reading that. And when I read it, I came across the verses which were describing concepts which modern science did not know 100 years ago. So I was totally taken aback, and I always thank Sujata for for taking me to that place. And it opened a new direction for me. I said, there's so much science in our Sanskrit scriptures. So I actually started looking at them. So I read the scriptures, I understood them, and I read Bhagavad Gita, I read Bhagavatam Puran, I read Brahm Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, I read Isha Upanishad, and a lot, So, and then I researched over 12 years. And in fact, my wife had cancer, and she bravely fought it, but then it came back after about 7 8 years, and she actually succumbed to it. 2019, she passed away, and the book was published in 2022, and it was released by Karan Singh ji at the India International Center. And so I dedicated on the first page, I said, this is because of she led me to that place, which exposed me to all this knowledge, which I was able to put in the book. And this is a fantastic book. And this is very much in line with my thinking that we have a very rich cultural and scientific heritage. And all of us should actually read about it and have, and like a scientist, I put referenced, everything is referenced. I mean, I would not like to say that this happened, that used to happen. Where is it written?
Yeah.
And the earliest reference I give in that book is 1500 year, and then the oldest they go far back as 7 8,000 years. So that book is called Science in Sanskrit Scriptures, and I've had a lot of appreciation of that book from a lot of high people. In fact, I was invited at the NRI conclave in Indore in 2023. And I met Jay Shankarji, and he actually looked at the book and he was so impressed. He autographed one of the copies, which I still have. And I've been lecturing throughout the world, America, London, India, and trying to propagate, the scientific and spiritual knowledge, which gives you a lot of strength as well.
I have seen that book, and I'd like to congratulate you. There is
Very nice.
extensive referencing that you have done now. And therefore,
Yes, sir.
anyone who wants to look up what are the sources from where you are coming, you have brought out all that there. Congratulations, is wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
One question before I let you go, doctor, and that question is that what would you like to advise? What would you like to tell the younger generation from India who inspire for a better future?
Yes, I think this is very close to my heart, because I've been a professor, and I've been teaching, and I like to teach, and my teachings have always been interactive. I've never been a didactic teacher. I want to let people fully communicate during my lectures, and they ask me lots of questions, and by the end of my lecture, they're answering it themselves. So that's my style of teaching. So youngsters are really a resource for future generations, and I know that a lot of youngsters face resource constraints and income problems, and some people face various other problems. But I would say to them that you must pursue in your interest, must pursue, and pursue it to the highest level in anything, whether it's science, physics, mathematics, or either it's arts, or either whatever it is, culture. If you want to be a dancer, go to the top. But it needs a lot of sadhana, and it needs a lot of discipline and a lot of concentration. And second, and the other thing I will say, one should learn the value system of our Sanatan dharma. It's full of, in fact, it is all value system. What is good for us, what is good for society, what is actually in really the good values that we should inculcate, and we should try to inculcate them. And also then I would say that, for example, Gita shloka karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phal hetur bhumate sangotsava karmani. I've been carrying this shloka since I was a school kid with me. That just do your best and leave the rest to the Lord. I mean, you should not be reactive. And that's the other thing is saying, I would say is that not bitter but better. Never be bitter. So any time you feel that you got done, you're not getting your due, then you say, "Oh, I'm not going to get into a negative emotional circle. I'm going to be better. So what are the better things I can do?" So that's, and there are lots of things which one can do to improve, and eventually they will help. They will help. And the other thing I would say is that people should learn decision making. I think that is lacking these days. Teaching for decision making is lacking, and whatever you evaluate, you take a decision and stick with it, and then don't regret later if it doesn't turn out to be correct. But decision making is very important in life. So these
Very
are the
good.
advice I will give you.
Wonderful. I'm sure that the listeners of my program will be highly benefited from your experience, and it has been very inspiring story for all those people. Well, I'm thankful to you at this stage, and we can close this interview.